Hi guys, welcome to another Divi theme video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Well, today we're going to put together this whole site from scratch using the Divi theme. We've got a home page here with content, videos, pricing tables, various little options, customer testimonials. And we've added a couple of other pages. We've got an about page. A services page. And a contact page. And our little contact page has got a live Google map on it. So you can click on it, you can scroll in and out, you can get directions if you need to. Really easy to do, and like I say, we're going to go through the whole process from a blank WordPress install to do this today. So let's wipe this out and we'll start from scratch with a blank install of WordPress. Okay, well I've got it reverted back to a vanilla install of Divi. That's all we've got on this WordPress site at the moment. I've just installed the Divi theme, and as you can see, it's just a generic looking site here. As a bit of disclosure, I went to ChatGPT and I got it to generate some content for me about a web design company, and I gave it the company name and told it how long it had been in business, etc, etc. So I've got some content that we can put in our new site here. So let's get started. I'm going to create a new page. I'm going to call it Home. And I'm going to use the Divi builder. I'm going to go ahead and start building it. If you've not looked at it, take the tour. It'll show you a lot of things there. I know what I'm doing today, so I'm going to go ahead and start building. I'm going to use a pre-made layout for this. And that's going to take us to this page here. I know what I'm building, which is a sort of web design agency. So if we look over here, we've got various different categories. Let's have a look at the tech. We've got IT services, crypto. There's a hosting company. Let's take a look at it. We'll click on it. If you want to view a live demo, just click on it again. And here's the demo of it. That's okay. I think that will work for our basic layout today. Of course, I'm going to customize it so it's a bit more personal. So let's close that up. And as we were working on the home page, they got a home page layout, and any of these layouts you can click on and check it out. So let's have a look at this home page. I'm going to hit use this layout. And here it is. It's loaded our little layout here. That's okay, but like I say, I want to personalize it a bit and make it my own. Okay, the first thing I want to do is tell it about my company rather than having this generic text here. Like I say, I've got my text over here. I'm just going to go in there. I'm not even going to go into the module. I'm going to select that heading, put in my own there. I'm going to do the same, that little bit of content right there. Great. Down below we've got a button, so we're going to want to take our visitors somewhere with that button. When we've got somewhere to take them, I'll come back and do the links when we build a bit more of this site. Okay, well, that's okay. I quite like that image there. Background's okay, but I think I'm going to change it for something a little bit more personal. And we know this background is in the section here. So if we click on it, blue tab for a section up here. If we go down to the background, we can see what we've got. Looks like they've got a gradient, that sort of blue gradient there, which is quite nice. I like that. And they've actually got an image which is doing that crazy shape there. I think I'm going to put my own image out and replace that with a divider at the bottom. So it's similar but not quite as wavy. So in the image, I'm going to trash that image. I'm going to grab one of my own images. So hit add background image. We'll upload the file that we want to upload. Let's try this one right here. It's a man on a computer. Most images should have an alt text really. It's supposed to be a description of the image so that people with screen readers with bad sight know what that image is. A lot of people stuff it with keywords. I don't know whether that still works nowadays or not. Google's pretty clever nowadays. When you're happy, let's upload the image. There it is right there. Not really working for me because I want it to cover the whole of that section there. If we roll down a bit, they had theirs on fit. I'm going to change mine to cover. And I know I've got that gradient in the background, so I'm going to mix it with that gradient in the background by rolling down a little bit more. Background image blend. I'm going to multiply it with that gradient. That's nice. It's taken on that blue color. We can read everything nicely. And while we're in this section, I'm going to make a little wavy line on the bottom just using a divider. So if we go over to design still in the section, we've got dividers. All sections have dividers. You can put them on the top or the bottom. I'm going to select the bottom. I'm going to click the one that I want. Let's just perhaps use that one. And there it is on the bottom like that. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so there's more of a curve there. Something like this. Fantastic. Well, that works for me. Okay, well, let's move on down. And it looks like we've got various different services here. And obviously, like I say, I got mine from ChatGPT, but you're going to want to personalize yours for real services. So let's put in a few of our own here. And these are blur modules right here. If we go in there, they've got their little various icons that are actually using images that they've put in there. If you want to replace that, you can do so here. I'm happy with those, so I'm going to go in. I'm going to just change the text on these. Great. And if we roll on down a bit more, I'm pretty happy with that graphic. That's actually a video, it looks like, or a video module. Let's have a look. So you can delete that video, put in your own video, insert for a URL. Let's get one of my YouTube videos and we'll pop the URL in there. That's great. And here's where they've put that overlay image in, just in the overlay down there. Well, I'm quite happy with that. So let's save this. I've got my own video in there now. Now, obviously, you're going to want to edit these pricing tables for all of your needs. Those prices are pretty cheap to me, actually. Let's just up those. These are regular pricing tables, so you can go in. There's a table. Go into the table. And it gives you the title up there. You can put a subtitle in if you want. The currency, the frequency once a month there. The price, let's up that to a little bit more sensible price. I'm going to leave all that just as it is. Obviously you can go in there and change anything you want. You see some grayed out there that they're not sort of included, and you've got the bold ones there. If you want to change it from not included to included, just put in whatever you want here obviously and change the plus from a minus, and it'll darken it out to be included. We covered all this when we did our little pricing table video. If you're not sure, have a look at that one. I'm happy with that. And next door, that's okay, and that's okay. Fantastic. And again, we've got some buttons here that will link when we've got somewhere to actually link them to. Probably link these to a contact form. And again, we've got an image here. I'm quite happy with that. Safe and secure web hosting, that's okay. So let's just make this our own as well. I'm going to go in there. And we'll add a title. And we'll add a little bit of context. I'll do exactly for these two below. No point you watching, I'll just pause this while I do that. We've got a kind of testimonial there. So if we go in here, take a look at this module. Yeah, it's got several slides here. If we go into one of them. They're just using the title and the content down there for the actual name. So again, we'll switch this out with some of our regular content here. Obviously, you want to have some real testimonials for yours. Obviously, change the name and company down there. I'm going to save that. That'll take us back to our regular one here. Here's the first one we put in. I'm going to do exactly the same for these two. Okay, well, I've done those three. If you wanted to add another one, the easiest way is just to hit the clone button. So you've cloned it. We'll go into this next one down here. And we'll put the title in there, which is the content in this case. Change the name. Like I say, obviously you want to have some real ones. So we've got that going, and it's an automatic slider. So if we save our slide here, go back into the design settings here, right down the bottom, you're going to find animation. And at the moment, it's rolling around every second, which is fine for me. No delay. If you want to change that out here, you can do. But I'm pretty happy with that. Great. Now we've got some little boxes down here with some stuff about the company. Let's just add a bit of info for that. And again, all I'm doing here is putting my own content in there. I'm just going to select the text there, put my own content in there. And exactly the same for the one next door. And again, we've got buttons here. We'll decide where to put these when we've got more pages. Now, I don't think I want to use 30 days of free hosting because I don't want to give that away. Let's put my own thing. Perhaps put in a little content about us, perhaps. I think I'm going to go into it this time. And let's put my text in there. And maybe why choose us? And again, I'd have this go into the contact form. Okay, we've reached the bottom of our page. And when we've got some pages up, I'll do a footer and a header and link all these things. So I'm quite happy with my first page there. Let's go ahead and publish this page. And exit the Visual Builder. So there's our first little page right here. It's got all the relevant info on there. We've got our little video in there. Prices are right for me. A little bit more about us here. Some testimonials. A few little bits of info down there. And a little paragraph about us. So let's create a next page. It's going to be an about us page probably. So I'm going to create a new page. I'm going to call this one about. Again, I'm going to use the Divi builder. And again, we'll use a pre-made template. Now, if you want to, you can mix and match any of these if you like the about page. I'm going to stick to that same one, which was in technology. And it was our hosting over here. Let's have a look at their about page. I'm sure it's absolutely fine for me. Similar sort of thing. So let's go ahead and use this layout. Okay, well that's loaded that nicely. Looking at this page, it's very similar, and I'll do the same thing. I'll pause while I'm doing this. We've got a video there. We know how to change that out. I'm going to change that background. We've got a bit of content down here. I think I'll show you how to add a little bit of extra content if you want to on that one. These will change out the text in. If we roll down a little bit more. We got that same testimonial slider. I think I'll save my other one from my other page And we'll just reload it on here rather than editing that one. We got some team pictures. I'll change those out for my own. We'll come back to that. And also we've got a contact form, so we'll configure this little contact form as well. But for the stuff I've covered before, I'm just going to do it and pause the video. No point you re-watching me do that. Okay, well I've changed out that little section there again with the image in the background. I've put my own video in there. We'll come back to the button in a minute and link those all up when we've got more to link them to. So you want to add another section or another row and add your own information there. We can do that quite easy. Let's add another little row here. Let's use a single column. I'm not going to put anything in it. I'm going to grab one of these modules here like this one. I'm going to clone it. Two little squares right there. I'm going to grab it. I'm going to drag it down, drop it in my little folder there. That way I've got the same font setup and styles as we've got up there. Now I'm going to drag this up the top because that's where I actually want mine. And then of course we can put in anything that we want here. Let's just say about us. And I'll put the title in down below there. And then obviously put in any content you want to put in down below. And we're going to do exactly the same for this down below. I'm going to grab that text, put in my own. And we'll also change out the text in the body here. And I'm going to do exactly the same for this one next door. Great, of course down below, just want to change out this text, you know how to do that, so I'll pause again. Great, well there's those two. And again, like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to save my other testimonial slider to my library and we'll just reload it here. To do that, I'm going to go back down to the dashboard, to the pages. There's our home page with that testimonial slider on it. I'm going to hit edit with Divi. I middle moused it so it opened it in a new tab. So let's roll down to that testimonial slider. As we're using the same thing, I'm going to go ahead, roll over it. Little icon just to the left of the trash can there. Save module to library, left click. We'll give it a name. And we'll save it to the library. We can go back to our other page here. Click on this one. We'll just delete it. Hit the add new button, dark button for a module. I'm going to go to add from library. And there it is right there. I'm going to click on it, use this module. And we've got our testimonial slider in there. Fantastic. Okay, down below we've just got some images and some people here. Obviously you're going to want to put in your own images. We'll just do the first one to show you how. Each of these has got its own little column. So we're going to go in there. Name, obviously. Position, you can see underneath there. You can put their Facebook and X and LinkedIn profiles in. Once you put a link in, the little icons will show up there. And obviously you want to link to those pages. I'm going to leave those out today. And if you want to write any more info, you can do that here. And that'll be just below the position there. I'm happy for that to be as it is though. It's quite clean looking. Now the important thing is the image right here. We want to take that away and put in our own image. If you want it to look similar to these here, you want to use a similar portrait style image rather than a landscape one. Landscape ones will work fine, but like I say, if you want to keep the look, you want to use another one that's portrait size. So we'll trash that one. We'll hit the little plus to add our own image. Yeah, pop that young lady in there. We'll save that. I'm going to continue on and do exactly the same for these others. I'll pause, no point you watching that. Okay, well I've just put my last one in there. There's my little team. If you wanted to add more, or even if perhaps you only had 3 or something, you could go into your row. And you could change it, add a new column, make it 5 columns if you wanted to add another one in there. As you can see, it's put a space in there for another one. Or obviously if you had less, put fewer columns in. Let's put it back to how it was. Or if you had a team of 8, you could just duplicate this whole row. Just save that. Hit the 2 little squares to duplicate. And you've got another row underneath. You can just go ahead and fill those out. Put your own team in there. That's great. Let's leave that as it is. Alright, we're down to our little contact form here. Well, I don't want to give them 30 days of hosting, so I'm going to say reach out today. Or whatever you want to put on yours. And of course we've got a little contact form down here, and contact forms are essential for getting information from your site. So let's go in there, dark tab for the module. Looks like we've got a little title right there, this top module. I'm going to leave that just as it is, and the actual form is down below here. So let's click in the form, and you can move these fields up and down by just left clicking, selecting and dropping. Of course that looks a little crazy. Let's put it back how it was. If you want to add a new field, hit the plus to add a new field. I'm happy with that. I find with forms, the less info you ask people to fill out, the more likely they are to actually fill it out. We've got a separate title up there, so I'm not going to put a title in. If you put a title in, it'll just appear above the form there. I'm happy for it to be how it was. Success message. That's what's going to pop up when they hit that submit button. So something like your message has been sent. Whatever you want to put there, obviously. And if you want to change the text from submit to something else, just put it in there. And you might want to spell things right. There we go. Now the important part, the email. This is where the form is going to be sent to. So you want to put your address in there. So me@myemail.com. Or wherever it is you want your form sent to. Message pattern, I won't get into that at the moment. Basically, you can put percentage signs, put in the bits that you want to see when the message turns up. Leave that blank. You're going to get all this information. We'll do that in a separate video there. If you want to, after they've hit the submit, you can redirect them to a different URL if you want to. I'm happy for them to stay on the page though and just get that little message. I'm not going to put a link on this. If you wanted to link this form somewhere, that's where you'd want it. And of course, if you wanted to change the background out, this is where you do it also. And you've got all the regular options of color, gradient, image, background video, background pattern and background mask. And you can combine several of these. Check out our backgrounds video if you want to learn more about those. You can get some fantastic things going. Well, I'm pretty happy with our little next page there. So let's save this. We'll publish this page and move on. And let's exit the visual builder. Great, well let's add a new one, perhaps a services page. Again, I'm going to hit the new page. And we'll call it services. We'll use a Divi builder. And we're going to get our layout out again. And we'll go down to our technology. And let's find a services page. And once you've looked at it and you're happy with it, we'll go ahead and use this page. And again, I'm going to just customize this top section. I'm not going to record anything that we've done before. No point you watching me do what you already know. Okay, we've just styled that with our image in the background, with the gradient over the top of it, and put in our own info there. I'm happy with that little infographic there. Moving on down. Again, we've got these little blurb modules, and I'll just put in my own information. I'm pretty happy with the little icons or the little images they've got there. So I'm going to change that out for my own information. Okay, well, I've added my own little info section there. And again, if you want to add more or less, delete what you don't want, duplicate what you do want. Change out your icons and your info, you're good to go. I'm happy with what we've got there. Again, we've got plenty of options there. That makes sense to me. That's fine for what I want. I don't need to change anything there. And again, these are all text with a little icon up the top there. If you want to change those, you can do so easily. Again, we've covered all this before. I'm just going to put my own content in there. Again, we're going to put links in when we've got our pages in place. Great, well, I've put my own info in there. That's fantastic. FAQs. Well, they've got a few more than I want here, so I'm going to change this out a little bit. I'm going to make this into one single column by hovering over the green tab for the row. I'm going to get the little icon, change column structure. I'm going to make it a single column instead of 2 columns there. And I've got about 6 FAQs I want to answer for mine. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to delete any after that. We're going to go into the module. This is a toggle, so you can toggle it open and close, as you can see over here. So I'm going to put the title in at the top. And the content, when the toggle's open, in down below. I'm going to save that. I'm going to rinse and repeat for all these. Again, I'll just pause and do those for you, exactly the same as we've done up here. Great. And again, we'll send them to our contact page when we've added that. I'm going to delete this particular section here because it says claim your domain, and you can search your site here, but that search is not going to let them claim a .com or a .net. But we could continue and keep the pricing up there. So let's just get rid of that search box. Just simply hit the trash can, and let's change this to domain pricing perhaps. And we'll pop a gap in there. And obviously you can adjust these prices if you want. Just go in there and change it to whatever you want. I'm actually quite happy with those. If you wanted to, you could add a little text module at the bottom. And we could just say something like prices subject to change. And we'll float it to the middle. Fantastic. We'll just leave that just like that. Okay, again, we've got customer testimonials here. Those are fine, but of course we want to put our own images or take those images away if you don't have any. To do that, you can go in there. Notice they got round images there. Now, they probably started off with square images and given it a 50% border to make them completely round. And if you wanted to take those away or change them, go into image there. Like I say, that's a square image. That's how you make a round image there. If you want to take them away, just hit the delete. And in the text, obviously you're going to want to put in your own text. And put the customer's real name there. And we'll do the same for the ones next door. I'll pause again. And of course, if you want to add more, you can either duplicate the row again by hitting the 2 squares, or you can duplicate the module itself, and we'll put one underneath here. We've got 3 columns. Do the same with each of these. Entirely up to you. I'm happy just to have those 3 there. Again, we've just got 2 little text boxes here. So obviously, again, we just want to pop our text that we want in there. And again, with the button, we'll connect all these buttons up at the end. And I'll do the same for this one right here. Great. And again, we've got our 30 days of free hosting there. I really don't want to do that. You know how to set up our form from the other page. Again, I'm just going to change this to perhaps reach out. And there we are. We're at the bottom of our page again. Fantastic. Let's go down and publish this page. And we'll exit. We'll add a new page. Let's add a contact page this time. And we'll use the Divi builder, obviously. We're going to go back to our pre-made layouts. Back down to our tech. There's our little hosting company. As I mentioned before, you can mix and match these if you want to. We've got a contact page right here. Have a look at it. Yeah, there's probably a little more information than I want on there, but that's fine. We can delete anything we don't want. I'm going to hit use this layout. And here's our page. We've got a little contact form, bit of information. Got a Google map. That's not going to work there. I'll show you an easy way to embed a Google map without an API key. We've got our FAQs. I don't think I want this on this page again, so I'm going to delete that section. Little blue tab for a section. Just hit the little trash can to delete. Now we got those little satisfaction guaranteed. We've got a little statement at the bottom. That's fine. That's the bottom of the page. So let's start up at the top here. And again, we just want to put in the text that we want up there. Obviously, we want to put in the address that we want up here. We've got blurb modules here on a yellow background, or orange background, I guess. You're going to want to put in your own email, obviously. Same for phone number and same for address. And any of these sections and rows and columns, if you want to change out the color of that right there, you can do so in the background right here. Make it whatever color works for you. You can mix and match if you want to. We'll do the same for all of these. That's great. And we know how to fill out the contact form. Add or remove any of the fields that you don't wish to have there. And of course you want a success message when they've actually submitted it, so they know that it's been submitted. And of course the important one, put the email that you want this sent to, as we did in the other one. Great. Now if you wanted to make this section a little bit more like our other sections, it's really easy to do. Reason this is orange and not blue, it's what they call a specialty section, which has got a slightly different layout. But it's still got all the features like background, so we can go into the background. We can put in our own image. They've got that pale cloud looking thing in there. Get rid of that. We'll add our background image. Just drag in whatever image you want there. And again, I'm going to roll down. I'm going to get this to cover the whole of our section here. And we'll take care of that text in a moment. I'm going to roll back up. They've got this gradient in there. I think I'm going to lose that gradient. We'll just use a blue color or something like that and merge it with the image itself. So I've selected a blue color in the background color there. If I make this a bit bigger, save me switching back and forth. Then in the image itself, we can roll down and blend it with that. And there's some fantastic options here, such as saturation, luminosity. You can get some fantastic effects going. I'm going to leave mine on multiply there, which will just multiply it with the background color. And of course, while we're in this section, I'm going to go to design and dividers, put my little divider I've been using on the bottom. I'll make it a little bit bigger. And let's just add a little bit more padding to the bottom of this row. We've got a row over here, the green tab. So it'll push that divider down a little bit. In design, spacing, I'm going to give it a margin on the bottom, say 100 pixels. Let's even do 150, that'll push that divider down a little bit more. Great. Then for a bit of extra interest value, if you wanted to, our little contact form here, let's see if it's got a background in there. Nope. So the background that we're looking at there is actually in the row. So if we go back into this row, there's the background. It's got a white background. I want a bit of that image to show through there. So I'm going to click on the field. I'm going to drag the opacity down just a little bit. So we've got a hint of that image in the background there. Fantastic. And of course, if you wanted to, you could do similar for all these modules. Go down to background, it'll be the same for all of them. Click on it, take the opacity down so you can see a bit of it through. If I move this out of the way, you'll be able to see what's happening a little bit better. Of course, we want to bear in mind we want to see that writing nicely as well, so we don't want to take too much of it away. About 75%, something like that. And we'll go in and we'll do the same for the next ones. I'll pause this again. Great. We just need to change this writing here in this top module so we can actually see it. So we can go into that module. Hit the little paintbrush, it'll take you straight to the title. I'm going to change that to white so we can see it, or whatever color you want, obviously. And we'll do exactly the same for the body text. Just hit the paintbrush, make it the color that you want. Great. Well, there's our little contact section, top section there. And again, of course, you're going to want to put your own email in there and your own telephone number. So again, we're going to put in our own little statement here. Great. Oh, we got a Google map here. Now, the reason this isn't loading, it's because we've not got an API key. And the easiest way I find to do this is just go to Google and get an embed code. So this is actually a map module. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to delete it. I'm going to put a code module in there. There's a code module. Great. Well, let's go over to Google Maps now. Once at the maps, put in whatever address you are. I'm using the Empire State Building. Let's zoom in or zoom out to however you want to see this map. Just click on it, roll in, roll out. That works for me. When you're happy, hit the little share button over here. Left click. And then you want to go over here and hit the embed a map. It's going to give you the embed code right here. Just hit copy HTML. We can go back to our page here. And we'll paste that HTML into our little code module here. As you can see, that little map's popped up there, but it's not taking up the full width of our row. If you want to take up the full width of the row, we just need to change one little thing on this map, and it's really easy. Let's make this a little bit bigger so you can see what's going on. Down here, we've got the iframe. We've got width there in the blue and height. Now the width, click on it. Just make sure you don't delete the inverted commas there. And I'm going to change the width from 600 pixels as it is at the moment, to 100 and the percent sign. Now that map is stretching to the full content of our row there. Great. Well, fantastic. We're almost through with this. We've got this on other pages. I don't think we need it duplicated again here. So I'm going to delete that section. But of course, that's entirely up to you. And again, I don't want to give them 30 days of hosting. I'm just going to copy this. I'm just going to put in my own little statement down here. And 30, 30 days of free hosting. Again, I'm going to say reach out today. And if they're down at the bottom, we've got our contact form at the top here. So let's link this to the contact form at the top. If we go back up there, our contact form's in the top section here. If we go into the section, we'll give it a CSS ID over in advanced, CSS ID. And I'll call it C form. It's my shorthand for contact form. You can call it anything you want, but it's got to be unique. We'll save that. Then if we go down to that button at the bottom there, learn now, reach out today. Let's go into that button. Change that to contact us perhaps. And for the link, we gave that CSS ID of C form. All CSS IDs, if you want to link to them, you've got to put a hashtag in there and then the name. And when they click on this button, it's going to scroll back up to the top here to our contact form. Great. Well, that's all the pages I'm going to do. Let's publish this last page and we'll brand this site. Okay, well, let's exit the Visual Builder. And the next thing we really want to do is create a menu to take our visitors to all these different pages. And also, we don't want it saying Divi up there. We want to brand it with our own logo. So let's do that. I'm going to go back down to my dashboard. Once at the dashboard, we need to go down to Appearance and then Menus. As this is a brand new site, we need to create our first menu over here, menu name. I'm just going to call my main menu. And then we can start to add the pages. So we'll hit the Create Menu button. And over on the left hand side here, we've got our pages. If it's closed up, just hit the little chevron by pages. And there's all the pages that we've got that are published. Now if you've got draft pages, they won't show up here. Select the ones you want and hit Add to Menu. Then you can left click on them, put them where you want. If you want to have sub-menu items, you can just select one, left click on it, drag it to the right slightly. It'll become a sub-menu item. You'll have a little arrow and a drop down to that one. We've only got 4 pages here, so let's just leave that as it is. When you've got everything where you want it, we can go down to the bottom here and decide where you want to display it. Or if we look back at one of our pages here, this is called the primary menu here in the primary menu bar. So we want to assign it to the primary menu. Once you're happy, save your menu. If I go back here now and refresh this page, we've got our new menu up here and it's highlighting the one that we're on in that light blue color. I'll show you how to change that in a minute. Here's our services. And our about page. And of course our home page. Great. Well, let's put our little logo in there. Again, I'm going to go back to my dashboard down here. For this, I'm going to go to Appearance and Customize, or you can also go down to Divi and Theme Customizer, exactly the same place. And that's going to take you to this page here. And by default, it puts the Hello World, the default WordPress page, as your home page. We want our own home page there, obviously, when they visit the site. So if we go down here, you'll find home page settings. Your home page displays not latest posts. I want a static page. And under home page here, it'll show you published pages. Again, it will only show you published pages, not draft pages. Of course, I want it on that home page. Fantastic, just what we wanted. Let's go back now. If I roll down to the bottom of this page, we've got the generic footer there. Designed by Elegant Themes, powered by WordPress. Well, I don't want this big black bar with the categories and archives in there because we've got no blog posts and categories. I'll show you how to remove that in a minute. But if we go up here to footer, you can decide what elements you want in your footer. If you don't want to show the social icons, and I'll show you where to put in the social icons there, you can turn that off. Not a bad idea to have it on. Like I say, I'll show you how to put in the links to those in a minute. This dark area is actually called the bottom bar. So if we go into there, you can select the background color and what it says. I usually like to have a little copyright statement there. To put in a copyright symbol, we'll use what they call an alt code. Hold down your alt key and then type in 0169 while your alt key's still held down, and then release your alt key. You've got a copyright symbol, and we'll say copyright system 22 2024. As you can see, that's updated that there. If you want to, you can change the text color up here. That's a little loud for me. Let's take that down to not quite so bright grey. You can bold, italicize, uppercase, underline if you want to. Let's just go back here now. If we go back up to the top, as I mentioned before, the page you're on is the active link up here, and that's that light blue. If we go down from the top here in the general settings, we've got our site identity, and that's what it says up here. You can give it a tagline if you want to. And you can add a site icon if you want to. Now, that's called a favicon, and it's the thing that you see up in the browser on the left-hand side there. And if you want to add one, you want to make sure that it's at least 512 by 512 pixels. Hit the select site icon and add your icon. You can crop it if you need to. I'm leaving mine just as it is. As you can see, that's now appeared up there. Fantastic. If we go back, we'll go down a little bit more. You can actually change the default width of your site. The gutter width is the space to the right and below any modules and sections and things. I'm going to leave all of this on the default there. So let's go back. Typography, you can set up the default font and font sizes. Again, I'm leaving these all on the defaults here, but you can also choose whatever you font you like, and Divi has got a crazy amount of fonts to choose from. You can choose from your header styles, and your body fonts, body link colors, body text colors, and header text colors. You can all set those up here. I'm happy with the way mine are at the moment. And the background, we don't really need a background because we've got all kind of different sections going on here. So let's go back and back one more time. Now we're going to our header and navigation. Now remember, we said this was the primary menu. You can choose to hide the logo if you want to, or bring it back, and I'll show you how to change that in a moment. Make it full width if you want to. And again, you can change your font styles and colors here. Now there's the active link I was talking about before. If you want to change that color, active link color right here. I'm just going to make mine the default blue. Fantastic. And everything else there, I think I'm just going to leave as it is. So we're in pretty good shape up there. We've got no secondary menu bar. That would appear on top of our menu bar here. Now fixed navigation settings, that's interesting. I'm going to come back to that. But header elements, you see we've got a search icon there. If you want to turn that on or off, you can do so right here. And when you add a secondary menu, you can show social icons at the top and a phone number and an email if you want to. I'm happy with all that to be just as it is. So let's look at our fixed navigation settings here. And what the fixed navigation settings are, if I roll down this page, you'll see that shrink. That's fine. But when it shrinks like that, that is the fixed navigation settings. So you can have that change color if you want by giving it a different background color here or whatever you want. If you want it to not shrink at all and be the same size, if we go back to our primary menu bar here, we've got menu height 66. To stop it from shrinking, we'll go back to our fixed nav settings and change that fixed menu height to 66. I think that's what it was. And now you can see it's staying exactly the same height, which is just what we wanted. And as I say, you can have it change color if you want to. We'll throw a silly color in there. Let's put a purple in there. So it's white at the top of the page. When they roll down, it's going to change to that purple color. Again, I quite like mine the way it was, so I'm going to put that back to the default. Great, so we're pretty happy with that. Obviously, we want our own logo in there. So once you're happy with everything that you've got here, make sure you publish your changes. Nothing else I really want to look at here. So let's X out. We'll go back down to our dashboard. Let's roll down to Divi. Now this is where we can put our own logo in. So I'm going to go to upload. I'm going to go ahead and upload my logo. Now mine's 338 by 100 pixels. I wouldn't make it too large because it will look a little strange when it shrinks down, but that's going to work for me. So I'm going to set that as a logo. And if we roll down a little bit here, here's where you can put in your Facebook profile, your X profile, that used to be Twitter, Instagram if you want to, and you can put your RSS feed in right here. If we roll down, we've not got any WooCommerce, but one thing I would like to put on this site is a back to the top button. So we've got a back to the top button here. I'm going to put it from disabled to enabled. And once you make any changes on this page, be sure to save them at the little green button up here. And we should be good to go. If I close up all these tabs now, we go to visit the site, just roll over where it says your site name up there. We'll visit the site. And here we have it. We've got our nice little logo at the top. We've got our accent link color, the color we want it here. If I roll down this page, we've got all the content in that we wanted. We're using the fade effects they have. We've got our own videos in there. And you may notice down on the right hand side here, we've got that back to the top button, which funnily enough will take them back to the top. Now the only other things that you need to do here is we want to go in there and any buttons, because we didn't put the links in before because we didn't have the pages. So I'm going to enable the visual builder. I want to take them to my contact page when they click on this particular button. So I'm going to right click on my contact there. I'm going to copy the link address. I'm going to go into the button itself. I'm going to go down to link. I'm going to paste that link in there. As we're linking to our own site, we want it to open in the same window. If we were linking off-site, we could open it in a new tab. That way our site's going to stay open. And you want to rinse and repeat until you've done all the buttons on your site, wherever it is you want to take people. Get started again. I think I'd link all of these to the button. If we go into one of these pricing tables here, we'll go into the actual module itself. Here's the button link right there. And we'll put the same in. And obviously you want to do the same for your other pricing tables wherever you want to take them. Learn more, perhaps we want to go to our services page for that. So again, I'm going to right click, get that link into the button. And for the link, we'll take them to the services page. Again, same window is fine. Rolling on down, I think we should be pretty much done here. Oh, we've got a few there. Award-winning support and 30-day money-back guarantee, which I'm not too keen about. Obviously, go in there, put the links in to wherever it is you want to take those folks. Learn more, or perhaps that wants to go to our About page. So again, let's grab that About link. We'll pop it in there. Great, we're good to go. Of course, once you've done anything, you want to save your changes. Okay, so like I say, I don't want this big dark area here, so let's get rid of that. I'm going to go back to the dashboard. And once at the dashboard, let's go down to Appearance and Widgets. That'll take us to this page here. If we look in footer area 1, there's our archives, and there's our categories. If we go in there, hit the 3 little dots right there, we can delete that. Do the same for the next one. Same for the next one. Just delete everything that's in there. Hit the update. Now let's visit the site. And if we zoom down to the bottom, that little area with the categories and archives things is all gone. Fantastic. So we're good to go. We're finished with this site. How easy was that? Got our about, our services, and our contact page. It should have the live Google map on it. Fantastic. So I hope you've enjoyed this today and found it useful. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, ring the bell, comment, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget, if you have any questions, pop them down below. I'll do my best to answer them for you, or make a little demo video. And do look at our playlist page. We've got a breakdown of how to build just about everything with Divi on there. So once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.